Good morning, and welcome to worship with the Unitarian Universalist Church of Ventura. I am Pastor Eric Halseth. I use he, they pronouns, and what a wonderful winter morning to see you all here. Winter. Welcome to everyone here in the sanctuary, and welcome to everyone on Zoom, wherever you may be. Whether you've been attending this church for decades or it's your first time here, I am glad you have joined us. This community is a special place that is precisely that because it is made up of people with many beliefs, identities, origins, sexualities, and genders, and all are welcome here. All right, announcements. For Ride Alliance 805 information, please speak with Jane Turcott in Rob's absence, and she will answer any questions. Rob should be back next Sunday, but I assume both of them could answer questions going forward. The Wisdom Exploration Council is meeting today at 11:30 a.m. I think in classroom 3, but it may move. Just look for Lily, and you'll find it. I'm pretty sure. You'll be helping to shape our wisdom exploration programs, and you can still fill out the form that is linked in the newsletter to show what sort of interest you have in helping. The new to UU class, number 1, that was supposed to take place today, we have somebody who is absent today who is one of the teachers of the class. We're going to postpone it for 2 weeks. So 2 weeks, same bat time, same bat channel over there in the West Alcove. This Tuesday is the 5th Tuesday. I know it's not the 5th Tuesday, it was rescheduled. 5th Tuesday, men's potluck and discussion at 6 p.m. in Berg Hall. The topic is the impact of childhood on our adult lives. Looking back, how did the child you were shape the man you've become? Last but not least is I have an announcement about today's practice fire drill. Upon further reflection and talking with Yukio, we will be practicing on a different Sunday, but soon, as we need to polish up the final instructions about how we're going to manage the fire drill. But here's a little basic overview for you that will be very similar to what you hear in the future. We're going to practice evacuating from the sanctuary when it happens, and it will be after time for all ages. So the children will be in Berg Hall. There are going to be 2 evacuation points. One will be to the east of the driveway on the sidewalk and or parking lot for those who are maybe less mobile, because it's a very short walk to right there. The other will be the parking lot located just to the west of the building on Ralston, on the other side of the outdoor sanctuary. And that is for people who consider themselves more mobile and are willing to make the walk over to there from whichever door we deem as the exit for the fire drill. And the children will evacuate to one of the parking lot exits for the purposes of our upcoming fire drill, just so that we can concentrate on doing it right the first time and don't have kids running around and getting underfoot when we try it. All of this information will be posted along with the maps that are already posted at many of the exits in different places. So look for that soon. And that concludes the Not Actually a Practice Fire drill for today. After the service today, all visitors and guests are enthusiastically invited to stop by the connecting table in Berg Hall through those double doors back there. Nearby is the welcoming table where you'll find information about this church as well as our faith tradition, Unitarian Universalism. And of course, let me remind you to refer to the announcements in the weekly newsletter, UUCV This Week, which you can receive via email. Finally, for those who may be new to the church, the section of seats over here to your right near the open windows are reserved for those who would prefer to be sitting near others wearing masks. We gather here today on land first cared for by indigenous peoples whose stewardship endures across many millennia and generations upon generations of people. We give thanks for their presence, past, present, and emerging, and we commit ourselves to walking paths of justice, healing, and right relationship. Specifically, we name the Barbareño and Ventureño band of the Chumash peoples who have stewarded their ancestral and unceded territory for at least the last 11,000 years. We honor their ancestors, elders, and descendants as they continue their deep spiritual and cultural connections to these lands and waters. Now, as we enter into sacred space, let us begin this service with love and compassion in our hearts. May we bring our whole selves, our joys and our sorrows, our questions and our hopes, and make room for one another with gentle care. And let all people of goodwill join together here in a spirit of wonder, courage, and gratitude, that we may deepen our truths and widen our love. Amen.
I am Worship Associate Jim Merrill. We light our chalice this morning, a little flame with a big heart. It reminds us to be kind and to care for one another. Friends at home are invited to light their own chalices or a candle as Pastor Eric and Atlas light our chalice here in the sanctuary. May this flame bring us together as we bring this service to a beginning. Whoop. Nobody saw the gas-powered lighter. Our call to worship this morning is titled Journey Through Lightness by Marta I. Valentin. There are times in your life when you will light many candles at once, under the pretense of illuminating someone else's world, but actually only to illuminate your own. Or perhaps for some variety and peace of mind and heart, you will light one candle at a time, one right after another, or spaced out to allow for a shift in wind. There are times, of course, when you will light no candle and favor sitting alone, letting the darkness fall around you, inside you, sometimes on top of you. Rest assured, though, that somewhere in your journey through lightness, there will be one candle that will not extinguish itself and remain spiritually lit.
Good morning, y'all. Hi, I'm Zach Spencer, and I invite you all to rise in body or in spirit as you're able, as we sing number 1. May nothing evil cross this door. May nothing evil cross this door, and may ill fortune never pry about these windows. May the roar and rain go by. By faith made strong, the rafters will withstand the battering of the storm. This heart, though all the world grow chill, will shall walk softly through these rooms, and kneading our lips with holy wine, till every casual mourner blooms into a shrine. With laughter drown the raucous shout, and though these sheltering walls are thin, may they be strong to keep hate out and hold love in.
Folks or young at heart to join me for the story. Gather up the donations for Ride Alliance 805 and Poder Popular as you come to the front.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I
Now,
receive,
James.
together we share, and from this we live.
He was throwing a tantrum? Like crying? Just refusing. Okay.
He didn't clean his room. He's still playing games.
We'll deal with that. All right. So today's story is The Three Questions, adapted from Leo Tolstoy's story called The Three Questions. Once upon a time, in a small town, there was a mayor who cared a lot about doing things the right way. But the mayor worried all the time. What if I start something at the wrong moment? What if I listen to the wrong people, the mayor wondered. What if I spend my energy on something that doesn't matter? The mayor had heard on the internet about this awesome thing called the wisdom of crowds. So the mayor called a meeting of the entire town. I will give a fabulous prize to anyone who can answer these three questions. First, when is the best time to begin anything? Second, who are the most important people to listen to? Third, what is the most important thing to do? All of the townsfolk quickly gathered into groups and started talking amongst themselves about the questions. After a bit, the groups came back to the mayor. One group said, "Make a perfect schedule. Plan every day for the whole year." Another group said, "No schedule can help. Just react quickly to whatever happens." Another group said, "You need experts for everything." Another group said, "You need a committee. The committee will tell you what to do." Well, all the groups had answers. The mayor went home that evening still feeling worried. And since it was the second Tuesday of the month, the gardener was just getting ready to leave after a day of cleaning up the yard. But the gardener saw the worried look on the mayor's face. "Ms. Mayor, I could not attend the meeting about the three questions because today is the second Tuesday of the month, and that's the day I clean up your yard. I heard some townsfolk talking as they walked past on their way home, and they sounded disappointed that nobody won the fabulous prize. Why don't you stop by my house tomorrow and tell me about it, and wear your gardening clothes?" The mayor agreed, and they parted ways. The next day, the mayor put on some old clothes and walked to the gardener's little hut far outside of town. The gardener was working in the garden already, turning the soil with a shovel, and looking tired but peaceful. The mayor said, "Wise gardener, I've come for some answers. Please help me with my three questions." The gardener smiled kindly and kept digging. The mayor waited, then asked again. Still, the gardener did not answer. The gardener just kept digging and breathing hard like the work was heavy. The mayor watched for a moment and then said, "You look tired. Here, let me help." The mayor took the shovel and began turning the soil, picking it up and flipping it over. The dirt, it was harder than it looked, by the way. And the dirt was heavy, the sun was warm, and the mayor's arms started to ache. They started to get tired. And after a while, the mayor stopped and said, "Wise gardener, will you answer my questions now?" The gardener still didn't answer. So the mayor kept digging. A little later, a stranger came hurrying down the path, holding their knee and wincing as they walked. "I tripped on a root," the stranger said. "I'm a little embarrassed to ask, but do you happen to have a bandage?" The mayor and the gardener helped the stranger to sit down. The gardener brought clean water and washed the stranger's knee. The mayor tore a strip of cloth from their scarf and wrapped it gently around the scrape. The stranger took a deep breath and smiled. "Thank you," they said. "That scrape hurt a lot. This helps more than you can know." The stranger chatted with them for a bit and then headed home. By then, the sun was getting low in the sky, and the mayor, tired from a day of work, stayed the night in the little hut. In the morning, the mayor stepped outside. The gardener was already there, planting seeds in the soft dirt beds they had made together. The mayor said, "Wise gardener, I am ready. Please, will you answer my 3 questions?" The gardener looked up, eyes gentle. "You've already received the answer." "I have," said the mayor. "When?" The gardener brushed soil from their hands and said, "Yesterday, when you arrived, you wanted answers right away. But first, you noticed someone who was tired. You offered to help. You began by doing what was right in front of you. The most important time was when you were digging, because that was the time you chose kindness. And then the most important time was when the stranger came, because in that moment, someone needed care." The mayor listened closely to all of this, and the gardener continued, "So here are the answers. The best time to begin is always now, yeah. Because now is the only time we can actually do something. The most important person is the one you are with, because you are present with them in this moment. And the most important thing to do is to help the person you are with, not someday, not when it's convenient, but right now through small acts of care and compassion." The mayor stood very still. Then the mayor smiled and said, "So the beginning is paying attention." The gardener nodded, "Yes. Begin at the beginning. Begin with the person in front of you. Begin with love." And that is our story for today. Now I'd like to invite all of our young folks to get up and go through the Bridge of Love as we sing them out. If you're new, just follow along, and please own your personal space as you see fit.
We hold you in our love as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go. We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go.
Each Sunday, we as a congregation give away our entire offering, sharing it with organizations that do meaningful work in the wider community or with funds that support people within our own church. This practice is one of the ways we live our values and put them into action, sharing what we have and caring for one another. You can give by texting to give, or if you're here in the sanctuary, You're welcome to place cash or a check in the box on the back wall, either during the offertory music or after the service. Our collection today goes to Buddy Nation, a local organization that provides funding to meet the needs of pets of our unhoused and low-income neighbors. Thanks to the generosity of this congregation, we have enabled Buddy Nation to help many animals and obtain the medical care that they need. Here is the story of one of the many animals Buddy Nation has helped. Jeremy, an adorable little poodle, was rescued from the shelter where he was slated to be euthanized after just 12 days because he had a massive cell tumor. Believing all dogs deserve a chance to live, Jeremy was adopted, but it turned out he had 8 mast cell tumors. Buddy Nation stepped in to assist with his medical care. They raised $3,500 for the surgery, and Jeremy came through with flying colors. Thank you for giving generously, as we always do. Thank you, Zach. And thank you for giving generously, as we always do. The generosity of this congregation helps make a more just and loving world possible. Now is the time in our service when we take a moment to pause and notice the rhythms of our lives, the joys that lift us up, the sorrows that weigh us down, and those quiet little milestones that can slip by unnoticed but still matter deeply. When we share these moments, we remember that we don't walk this path alone. We place stones in water, each one a symbol of what we're carrying in our hearts. Every stone sends out ripples, gently touching the lives around us and spreading through this beloved community. Together, through both joy and sorrow, we hold one another. May we feel those ripples of connection and care, and may we keep holding each other with kindness. If you do have a joy or sorrow you'd like to have shared during a service, you can submit it using the link found on our website, uuventura.org, or in our Thursday email bulletin, UUCV This Week. Submissions received by 8 p.m. on a Saturday will usually be included that Sunday. Here are the joys and sorrows that were shared this week. Teresa Z. and Paula Z. Brown share a sorrow. Our dad, Stan, who raised his 3 daughters alone after the early passing of our mother, himself has passed away on Monday, January 5th. His 102nd birthday was 4 days earlier. May he rest in loving peace. Kathy Powell shares something that's both a joy and a sorrow. Kevin D. and I, she says, are moving out of our house tomorrow. I guess that's today. While we are getting an extremely nice downsized house, it's always tough to leave a place you have lived in for decades. Oh, and the packing. Thank you to our friends who have helped and been so supportive. I can't wait to get back to church instead of packing. Ron Dallas has shared a joy. My wife's 80th birthday was Saturday the 10th. Congratulations are in order. And Susan Franzblau shares a joy. Martha is home and welcomes visitors, but please call or text first. I invite you now to speak into this gathered church, whether here in the sanctuary or writing into the Zoom chat, the names of those you wish to celebrate, memorialize, or bring into the loving embrace of this beloved community. Gary North. Pastor Eric will now place one final stone in the water for all the joys and sorrows just shared and those yet unspoken in the silent sanctuary of our hearts. May we be grateful for all that sustains us on the journey we share and for the ways we remain present for one another in times of joy, in times of sorrow, and in all the spaces in between.
Please remain seated, but let's join each other in singing hymn number 1029, Love Knocks and Waits for Us to Hear. Love knocks and waits for us to hear, to open and invite. Love longs to quiet every fear and seeks to set things right. Love offers life in spite of foes who threaten and condemn. Embracing enemies, love goes the second mile with them. Love comes to heal the broken heart, to ease a troubled mind. Without a word, love bids us start to ask and seek and find. Love knocks and enters at the sound of welcome from within. Love sings and dances all around and feels new life begin.
Our reading today comes from the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, chapter 1. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The nameless is the beginning of heaven and earth. The named is the mother of 10,000 things. Ever desireless, one can see the mystery. Ever desiring, one can see the manifestations. These two spring from the same source, but differ in name. This appears as darkness. Darkness within darkness, the gate to all mystery.
I invite you now into a time of meditation. Hold the nameless that Jim just named in chapter 1 of the Tao. Hold the darkness within darkness. Hold the mystery. Place your feet upon the floor. Close your eyes if you wish, and breathe in and breathe out. Noticing your breath, both as it comes in and it comes out. Relax in this moment and just breathe. Simple. I'll say that again, because it was not mic'd at the time. I want to begin with something simple, a simple idea. Most of us rarely get to start at the beginning. We tend to start in the middle of things. We start a new project in the middle of a busy week. We start an important discussion in the middle of a relationship that has history. in the middle of a health journey, in the middle of world events that ask us to keep up, catch up, brace ourselves, or somehow make sense of it all. Even in our spiritual lives, we don't really start at a beginning. When we first came to a UU church, if we weren't raised UU, we might have questions that are already burning. We start with wounds that have already happened. We start with a kind of ache we can't always name. So when I say the title of today's sermon, Begin at the Beginning, I don't mean let's go backward. I don't mean let's pretend everything is new. I mean, what if we could return to first things? What if we could find the most honest starting place again and again, especially when life feels complicated? And for that, we have two teachers this morning. One was the Tao Te Ching, written by Lao Tzu, with the first of its 81 chapters opening with both a paradox and a warning. And the other was a children's story, Tolstoy's The Three Questions, which opens with curiosity and ends with compassion. Between these two, we get something like a map, not a map that tells us everything, but a map that helps us to take the next step. The Tao's beginning, don't mistake the name for the real thing. The first chapter of the Tao Te Ching is first for a reason. It begins by telling us that the Tao, the way, the deep pattern of reality, the sacred unfolding of life, the 10,000 things, the universe, cannot be fully captured in language. A thing's name is not really the thing. The description is not really the reality. The label we choose for the Tao is not the living Tao. Now, for some people, that might sound frustrating. We like clarity. We like definitions. We like statements we can hold on to. And yet, if you've lived any amount of life, you already know this lack of clarity is normal in our lives. You can describe grief, but grief itself is larger than whatever you can say. You can describe love, but love itself is bigger than any sentence made out of words. You can describe awe, but true awe breaks whatever container you put it into. Language is a tool. It's a gift. It's how we share meaning and how we build community. But the Tao begins by reminding us, be careful not to confuse your words with the world. And in a Unitarian Universalist community, that matters, because we are a people who use many names. Some of us say God with tenderness. Some of us say God with hesitation. Some of us say spirit, love, justice, interdependence, truth, mystery, humanity, the universe, the sacred, the holy, the web of life. We have a whole panoply of names for the divine. And the Tao's first wisdom is not pick the right one, it's hold your names lightly. Use them, share them, but don't let them harden into certainty that blocks your ability to see. Because sometimes the first spiritual practice is just admitting, I don't have the perfect words for this. I don't fully understand. I might be wrong. There's more here than I can grasp. And strangely, that kind of humility is not a loss. It's a beginning that can make room, a beginning that can soften us. It can open us to learning again. If the Tao teaches anything at the start, it's that the beginning is spacious. The beginning is not a conclusion. It's not a verdict. The beginning is a doorway. And that brings me to the children's story. Because if Lao Tzu opens the door into mystery, Tolstoy helps us walk through it. In the three questions, a leader, a mayor in this adaptation that I did, wants to be wise. She wants to know how to live well. And so she asks 3 questions. What is the right time to do things? Who is the most important one? What is the most important thing to do? And she goes searching for answers from the wisest people she can find. But the story turns, as some stories do, away from the abstract and into the practical. She meets a person in need. There's urgency. There's suffering. There's a chance to act or not act. And in that moment, the answers are revealed not through a lecture, but through life itself. The answers, as the gardener teaches, are: the right time is now. The most important person is the one you are with. The most important thing to do is to do good for the one who is near. Is that a complicated theology? Sorry, it is not. A usable theology? Something you can put into practice today or tomorrow? It is. Because the story is basically saying, don't begin with the fantasy of perfection. Begin with the reality of the present moment. Start where you are. Start with who is in front of you. Start with what love makes possible right now. And here's the connection between the Tao and Tolstoy's story, because they are doing something similar from 2 different directions. The Tao says, don't cling too tightly to your conceptions. Tolstoy says, don't drift away into concepts at all, come back to living in the moment. The Tao says, there is mystery beyond words. Tolstoy says, sure, there's mystery, but do the good you can do. The Tao says, the name is not the way or the 10,000 things. Tolstoy says, the way, the 10,000 things, look like compassion. So if we're going to begin at the beginning, maybe this is our beginning. Not certainty, not perfection, not control, but presence and kindness and the courage to start again right where we are. It's one thing to love these teachings as ideas, but the real question is, what do they ask of us in our lives? Many of us, maybe most of us, carry a quiet burden, the feeling that we should have figured it out by now. We should know what we believe. We should know how to handle conflict, how to parent, how to grieve, how to be calm. We should know what to do next. And when we don't, our feelings of shame or anxiety or whatever take over. So begin at the beginning is not just a cute phrase, it's a spiritual invitation. It's an invitation to let go of trying to control every aspect of our lives and start practicing empathy and compassion in the moment. Because beginning is not something you do one time. Beginning is something you do daily. You begin again after you lose your temper. You begin again after you avoid a conversation. After you get discouraged. After you fall into old habits. After you say, I'm fine, when you're not. You begin again after you learn something that changes you. In a UU community, we sometimes treat beginning like a program. A newcomer class or a new member ceremony. A new covenant. A new initiative. A new committee. But deepening is deeper than a program or an event. Beginning is a posture of the heart. It's saying, I'm willing to be taught, I'm willing to be changed, I'm willing to take the next right step, even if I can't see the whole path I have to follow. And at this point, I want to turn towards something I get questions about on the regular. What a minister or pastor is and what a minister or pastor does. So let me begin at the beginning with that too. In some traditions, a pastor is primarily a preacher, someone who declares sacred truth. In some traditions, a pastor is primarily an authority figure, someone who tells you what is right and what is wrong. Or maybe a manager, someone who manages the institution of the church. But in Unitarian Universalism, the pastoral role is shaped by something different. We are a covenantal tradition. We don't gather around a creed that everyone must agree to. We gather around promises we make about how we will be together as a community. So a UU pastor or minister is not the boss of your beliefs. A UU pastor is not the person who has everything figured out. A UU pastor is, at heart, a companion and a tender of the community's life. Let me say that another way. A pastor is someone who helps us practice beginning again. A pastor helps hold the big questions without rushing to the answers. A pastor helps translate between the world of ideas and the world of lived experience. A pastor helps people find language when language is hard, while also respecting that some things are beyond language. That's a little Taoist, right? And it's also very Tolstoy, because the pastor's work is often located precisely where the story locates wisdom. Right now, with the person in front of you, doing the good that is possible. Here are a few practical ways to understand what a pastor does, especially in a UU setting. A pastor tends worship and meaning making. Not alone, but with others. Worship is one of the main places where we practice our shared life, where we tell the truth, where we grieve, where we celebrate, where we widen our compassion, where we remember what matters. A pastor helps weave that together. B, a pastor provides pastoral care, which is a fancy way of saying showing up for people, listening, being present in crisis, visiting the sick, sitting with grief, supporting families, sometimes simply offering company. C, a pastor equips the congregation for shared ministry. In UU Life, ministry is not something done to a congregation by a professional. Ministry is what we do together. D, a pastor helps the community navigate conflict and change, not by fixing people, but by guiding us back to covenant, back to our promises, our practices, our shared commitments to dignity and respect. E, a pastor cares about the space that is the church, both the building and the lot, and the feeling within it. That means helping ensure our inside and outside spaces are welcoming, safe, accessible, and prepared for worship and community life, while also tending the invisible space of trust, hospitality, and covenant that helps people feel they belong. F, a pastor helps us remember the beginning. This is the part I want to underline today. When things get tangled, when we're overwhelmed, when the questions get loud, a pastor often asks the simplest questions again. What is happening here really? What matters most? Who's in front of us right now? What does love ask of us right now? What is the next faithful step? Sometimes the pastor is the person who says gently, let's slow down. Let's return to the beginning. Let's come back to what we know is true. And I'll be honest, it's not glamorous work. It's not always visible, but it is sacred. And it is one of the ways we keep love, empathy, and compassion at the center of our community. So if you ever wonder, what does a pastor do? One answer is a pastor helps the community practice the wisdom of beginning again. Beginning with presence, beginning with compassion, beginning with the person or people right here. I want to leave you with a simple practice, something you can try without special equipment, without perfect conditions, without a retreat or a manual, just 3 beginnings drawn from our 2 teachers today. First, from the Tao, begin with silence. not as an escape, but as a reset. Before you respond to the email, before you escalate the argument, before you decide you know what someone meant, before you judge yourself. Take a breath, let the mind unclench, and remember, the name is not the thing. The story is not the whole story. Second, from Tolstoy, begin with presence. Ask, who is the person I'm with? Not, who do I wish I was here with? Not who should be here, not who is to blame, but who is right here. Because wisdom and presence are not abstract. Wisdom and presence are embodied in our relationship with the person right in front of us. Third, Tolstoy again, begin with good. I know you all know how to do good. I already know that. Ask, what is the good I can do now? Not the heroic good, not the perfect good, but the doable good. The phone call, the apology, the boundary setting, the meal, the ride, the donation, the listening, the honest sentence, the kind word. Silence, presence, good. If you do nothing else this week, try that sequence one time. And if you mess it up, if you forget, if you fail, if you fall into old patterns, then you have the most you opportunity of all. You can begin again. May it be so, blessed be, and amen.
And I invite you all to rise in body or in spirit as you're able as we sing our closing hymn, number 116, I'm on my way. I'm on my way to the freedom land. I'm on my way to the freedom land. I'm on my way to the freedom land. I'm on my way, great God, I'm on my way. I asked my sister, come and go with me. I asked my sister, come and go with me. I asked my sister, come and go with me. I'm on my way, great God, I'm on my way. I asked my brother, come and go with me. I asked my brother, come and go with me. I asked my brother, come and go with me. I'm on my way, great God, I'm on my way. If they say no, I'll go anyhow. If they say no, I'll go anyhow. If they say no, I'll go anyhow. I'm on my way, great God, I'm on my way. I'm on my way, and I won't turn back. I'm on my way, and I won't turn back. I'm on my way, and I won't turn back. I'm on my way, great God, I'm on my way.
After the service, we hope that everyone will stay for coffee, tea, bagels, and great conversation in Berg Hall. If you haven't yet, you can drop your offering in the box on the back wall. And as mentioned earlier, we'd love to meet you at the connecting table in Berg Hall. And here is a personal pro tip from me for the soup and chili potluck that Michael Axevan is helping to coordinate. next Sunday afternoon. You can contact Michael, by the way, if you want to offer to bring something. Here's the tip. Bring a muffin tin and get 6 small samples at one time. And now, please join me in reading the words on the screen as we prepare to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. Those we carry into our lives until we meet again.
The beginning is not behind you like some lost innocence. The beginning is beneath you like the ground. It's available right now, wherever you are. The Tao begins by reminding us that reality is larger than our words. Tolstoy's story begins by reminding us that wisdom is closer than we think. Now, this person, this good. And the pastor's role, at least one way to describe it, is to help keep pointing us back toward that kind of beginning, especially when life gets noisy and the path gets unclear. So may we begin again. Begin at the beginning, to quote Fatboy Slim, right here, right now, with all the love that is possible. Amen. Blessed be, and may it be so.